trumpet in Zion. Sound the alarm. This is a war cry. Devil will say no to you over this generation. I shout, let the army roar. Let the army roar. Kapaya and the palada. So let the army roar. We are taking it back. Let the army roar. A shout. An army is rising. Oh. That won't take no for an answer. Aya. And if we must argue, nothing less than all of you. Abaya, abaya. Hey. An army is rising in the realm of the spirit. That will take no for an answer. And if we must argue, Kaya, nothing less than all of you. All of you. Because we won't wait for you to come. We are right where you are. We are desperate for all of you. Nothing less than that. We would wait for you to come. We are right where you are. We are desperate for all of you. Nothing less than that. Let the army roar. Let the army roar. Hey! Let the army roar. Apali akopeki akasha. Let the army roar. Say, an army is rising. That won't take no for an answer. And if we must argue,
Nothing less than all of you.
an army is rising. That will take no for an answer.
And if we must have you, nothing less than all of you.
Ja,
All of you.
because we won't wait for you to come. We are right where you are. We're desperate for all of you. Nothing less than that. We won't wait for you to come.
Right where
Where you are. We're desperate.
all of you. Nothing less than that.
Lift your hands, everybody say, we won't wait.
We won't wait for you to come. We are right where you are. We're desperate for all of you. Nothing less than that.
One more time, somebody lift it up and say, we won't wait.
We won't wait for you to come.
We are
We are right where you are.
Yalla, kapala, tell ya, mama. We are desperate.
We're desperate
Aya.
for all of you. Nothing less than that.
And our generation shall praise your name. Our generation shall praise your name. Hey! Our generation, shall praise your name. Everybody say,
Our generation shall praise your name. Our generation
army roar. Let the army roar. Devil, over this generation you are a loser. Akalia parakatayada. We take it back. We take it back. We redeem the time. We redeem the time. They won't back down. And fire goes before them. Behind them is a desolate land. They won't break rocks. And it shall come to pass in the last days that I will pour my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and daughters, they shall prophesy. They shall see visions. Somebody open your mouth and pray.
Anybody way won't fight you, may they come, they already know. I'll be right beside you, like the wall of Jericho. They don't know, they don't know, they don't know what's going on. Monagiso, 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 my baby boo. I'll be a soldier for you, I'm getting better in Kung Fu. You should know I got it, and you don't need to guide me too. I'll be right beside you in anything that you do. If you ever need saving, I will be running to you, running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to, running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to.
When I'm looking for trouble, it's cause I know that I got you. Wanting more best everybody, oh oh. And it's because of your kung fu. And anytime that I'm out of control, you hold me down. You never, never let go. Yeah, Munagiso, my baby boo. See all the battles you'll be fighting, and I'll be right there with you. I may be small but I'm mighty, and I go run up for you. And anybody ways I be, yeah, don't be you, pull it, I be alright. And if I ever need saving, I'll be running to you.
Running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to, running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from anywhere you're watching me all over the world. My name is Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arodudu, the host of the Today's Woman's Discovery talk show and the editor-in-chief of the Today's Woman's Discovery magazine. Have you gotten a copy of the Today's Woman's Discovery magazine? It was launched on the 18th of June, and it's a magazine for every today's woman. Like someone described it, he said it's a magazine that has the I am that I am personality. So if you've not gotten a copy yet, please reach out to me in order to get a copy, or send an email to ooainspires@gmail.com. It's a magazine that is loaded about, you know, vision for today's woman, about family, about loyalty, about human engineering, about relationships, about every aspect of our lives as a today's woman. And it's so affordable, just 1,000 naira only. It comes in digital format. I only printed this hard copy for my own personal use, but it comes in digital format, and it's a magazine that has blessed everyone who has gotten a copy. So if you are yet to get a copy, please reach out to me in order to get a copy of this amazing magazine. That being said, so how are we doing this afternoon? Today, this evening rather, today I have two amazing women with me on the talk show, and they're going to be the panelists on this topic that we are having today. And our topic for today is the woman and her money. We all know that money is one thing that women always shy away from. It's almost like a big, like a big topic that women don't want to delve into. And that was why I was inspired to bring this topic on today with these two amazing women who are professionals in their own field. And they're going to be sharing a lot with us today in this conversation. So I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy, and also learn one or two things in order to better your own life as a woman. Before we kick right into the show, I want to say a big thank you to Batia Accessories. They are our sponsor for this talk show today. And I played their adverts earlier on. The deal were in customized jewelry, and they can deliver to you anywhere in the world. I'm wearing a part of their jewelry, and it's customized with a Darius woman. I have a brand named Ada Creations. They are even a sponsor of this program, and this was customized for me for Batia Accessories all the way from Nigeria, and they delivered here in Ireland. This is what their box of accessory looks like. So if you want anything customized for you, even for your husband, for your brother, for even for men, not just for women alone, just get in touch with Batia Accessories. They are right there on Instagram, customized jewelry _ng. That's their Instagram handle. So reach out to them, or you could also reach out to me in order for me to connect you to them. So I'm going to be reading the bio of our guest today before I bring them on. The first woman is Sis Debbie Adara. I've actually brought her on the talk show before, and let me just do a quick run of her bio. She's an internationally educated healthcare professional with about 15 years of experience in clinicals, academics, research, and advocacy. It looks like our two guests have the same kind of bio, and this is beautiful. She's also a trained public speaker, passionate about health, relationships, parenting, social justice, financial literacy, and national development. She serves on the board of a non-profit organization in North America. She's a wife and mother to 3 amazing children. And our second guest, Sis Onoluwa Bimbola. She is a Nigerian medical laboratory scientist. Like I said earlier, they have something similar with health. She's also an author of Gender Equality and Health for all advocates, who is always asking questions and working to find solutions. You only need to visit this women's Facebook page and you understand how brilliant and the kind of mind that they have. Just, connect with them on Facebook and read them and follow them bumper to bumper, because they have blessed me a whole lot, and that was why I had to reach out to them to bring them on the talk show today. And Sister Onoluwa Bimbola, she's a 2021 Future Females Fellow, 2019 Generation Africa Fellow. She's a yearly West Africa Senior Fellow, my God. Alumnus, University of Nigeria and University of Ibadan. Awesome. She's the founder of the Volunteer Medical Laboratory Scientists Forum, abbreviated as VMLS4, and Mo Health, a social enterprise working to bring healthcare closer to people in every community. Sis Onoluwa Abimbola loves making others smile and equally finds great joy in volunteering for healthcare outreaches to rural communities. What an amazing bio of both women that we are having on the talk show today. So without wasting much of our time, I'm going to be bringing them on. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you're just going to join us on the talk show, please put your name in the comment section and where you're watching from, so I can give you a shout out. And also help us share so that more people can get to see this. I'm going to bring them on now.
Hi.
Hello, Sister Onoluwa. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. The way you're saying sister, I'm like, hey, when did I become a reverend mother?
Okay, don't let me
My
say
name
sister.
is
Let me say
Onoluwa. Even my
Let me say
baby is
sis.
laughing here.
Okay, should I call you Onoluwa or sis Onoluwa?
Thank
Is
you.
it
It's a
sis?
pleasure to be here, and I'm
Okay,
looking forward to the conversation.
all right. Thank you
Don't
so
you
much.
might hear some additional voice from background. You
No
can hear him.
problem.
That's my baby.
Bring him on. It's part of the talk show today, so he's the welcome guest. So let me bring on Sis Debbie Adara on the talk show. Hello, Sis Debbie. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's really,
And there's
really
a
nice
magic
to see
that
you.
is happening today. Everybody's
Hi.
audio is so clear, and I'm so loving it. It's not far or distant.
That's
Welcome on
Yeah.
amazing.
board.
Thank
How
you
are you
so
today,
much.
ma?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, thank you for honoring this my invitation for the talk show today. So we're going to go right into the program, and I'm going to start with the first question. And Sis Onoluwa, I'm putting the first question to you. So, like you know, our topic for today is the woman and her money. The woman
Yes.
and her money. Yes. So our first question is, what do you think about a woman having her own money as an individual and in marriage?
Thank you for the question. When I was just wondering, it's not a strange concept for a woman to have her own money. My grandmother, when I was in primary school, I grew up knowing her as like my father would tell me that she was a very popular trader in Axis in Egbado site, that's Yewa North of Ogun State. And I remember as far back then, I think I was in primary 4, we went visiting, and she just entered her room, brought out one basket, checked under some clothes, brought out 12,000 naira. That was quite a lot of money at that time. That was probably around 1993 or I'm trying to remember. It's been long. And she brought out 12,000 naira and gave to me and said, for you and your siblings. And it wasn't strange because my dad did not say, yeah, mama, collect this money back. She had her own money. And this was a woman that was not, should I call her semi-literate? Because I doubt if she finished primary school, but she was a well-known trader that had her own money. Even if you look at the Bible, you find out that the Proverbs 31 woman that we are all asked to emulate had her own money. She would buy land. She was buying stuff, buy clothes for her maidens, a lot of things. So it's not a strange concept. It's just today that I don't understand why people feel threatened by a woman that has some money. Because basically today, I even think we're having the shorter end of the stick in most communities. Most times you don't find women having a lot of money. You just find women having some. By the time you list the first 20 richest people in the world, how many women are there? How many of those women actually made some of the money they had, themselves, and not that maybe husband gave them some and stuff like that? So I think in our own generation today, we really need to focus more on how to empower more women to actually be financially literate, able to invest and trade and get money, because for every human being, you need to have money, and the woman is no exception. If you're talking about gender equality, the woman should also have money. So it's not something strange. It's not something that should threaten any male or any other person at all, that a woman has her own money.
Thank you
So
so
for
much,
me,
sis.
it's just, I think it should just be commonplace that I have my
Commonplace.
money, you have yours, my husband has this, everybody has money, and we're all happy.
And we're all happy.
Yes.
Thank you, sis. I love how, because your mindset towards it, like, a woman having money is no big deal. It's supposed to be a normal thing.
No,
It should be
it's
normal.
not.
It shouldn't even be a conversation that we are having. But we found out that a lot of people are out there that they are threatened when women have money. It's becoming an
That's true.
issue. And okay, before I go on, I want to welcome our guest, Sister Rachel. Thank you for coming on board. I can see you. Ma Adenike, thank you so much. She's saying, "Happy Sunday, beautiful women of substance." Oh, happy Sunday, beautiful women of substance. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Welcome on
Thank
board.
you.
Please, if you're just joining us, let me know where you're watching from, and so I can give you a shout out. So thank you. Okay, Ma Adenike said, "Women should have their own money. That's when there will be balance in the home." Exactly. So why it is becoming a threat to a lot of people out there, it never ceases to amaze me. So I'm going to put the same question.
Can I interrupt you? One of the reasons why people feel threatened by a woman having her own money is because they feel if a woman has her own money, she will be proud, she'll be arrogant.
Exactly.
But look around you. Most of the people who are very arrogant do not even have anything. The ones that have, yes, I'm serious.
You're
The
right.
ones that have a lot of money, like if you see someone who is a billionaire, most times they are just like,
Calm.
they are quiet, they don't really talk much. You won't even know anything. They may be in a gathering and you don't know they are there. The ones who make a lot of noise, the common axiom, empty barrels really make the loudest noises.
Loudest
So
noise.
people talk about a woman with her own money being arrogant. I just laugh because it's a fallacy. It's not true at all. It's not true. But
It's indeed
the
a fallacy.
actual reality is that people are threatened because they believe once a woman has money, she'll carry shoulder and then she'll be too proud or something like that.
Thank you so much. Can see some Sis Ajayi Rebecca Folashade. Welcome on board, Ma. So glad to see you. Welcome on board. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to put the same questions to Sis Debbie. Ma, please, what do you think about this? About a woman having her own money?
Thank you so much for that brilliant question. Yeah, I think it's like Sister Bimbola said, it is non-negotiable for a woman to have her own money, but we just seems like there's still a set of people in the society that we have to keep reminding. They don't know. We just have to remind them, just in case they've forgotten that it is important that as a woman, you're expected to be a valuable member of the society. You're expected to add to the economy of the society. You are not, you are not just a member to come and do any other thing or pop out babies. Just not about the biological roles. That's not why you are here. God created you, gave you all those brains, that brain mass, that intelligence for you to be able to add value to society, for you to be able to move the economy forward. So yeah, a woman working, a woman having her own source of income is non-negotiable. It's not supposed to be something we have to, drive into people. It should come as part and parcel of them being individual members of the society, woman or not.
Thank you so much, sis. Thank you. So it's not supposed to even, like you said, Ma, like we have to keep reminding some people, because sometimes you read some things on social media and you're like, who are these people? Where are they from? Why are they reasoning like this? Like, it's very barbaric kind of mindset that you don't even begin to comprehend where this kind of thoughts are coming from. And like Sis Onoluwa said, she said her grandmother brought out money from under a basket or from under some clothing. My grandmother was also like that. She was extremely industrious. She's into all kinds of businesses. People that they call jack of all trades, but she was actually master of all. She will go to Kaduna or Kano to go and buy yam. All those kind of things. They will go and buy tomato, basket. She was a don in a village. So I don't understand. It's as if the more civilized we get, the more it becomes an issue for women to have their own money. And like Sis Debbie said, we need to keep reminding these people so that it will sink that women are not here as a form of decoration. We have the same rights as the men have. We have the right to make money, we have the right to spend our money, and we have the right to be proud that we are building a career or businesses for ourselves. So thank you. Sis, I think we lost Sis Onoluwa there. Sis, just try to come back. I know you can hear me. Try and come back. Then you will come on. It might be the network. So Marisha said that a woman is an helpmate, and that involves having her own money too. Exactly. When you don't even have money as a woman, marriage cannot be sweet though. Everything is just going to be extremely difficult, and you are going to have self-worth and self-esteem issues. So a woman having her own money is non-negotiable. So I'm going to go right into the second question, and I'm putting that to Sis Debbie. So, Ma, is it a form of selfishness for a woman to aspire to have her own money or be on the path of earning a proper living before getting married? So over to you, Ma.
The first thing that comes to mind for me, having heard that question, would be, who is she selfish to? You know, the fact is that as a woman, you are first an individual, a complete, independent individual. As a woman, our identity doesn't come from the fact that we are married or not. So I want this conversation to stem from the place of I'm an individual, a complete, independent individual. So who is going to say I'm being selfish by trying to make money? My parents sent me to school so that I can be of use to myself. I can be a valuable member of the society, and I can add to the economy of the society, and I can do everything that I want to do. I can achieve everything I want to achieve in life, no matter how big those dreams are. As a matter of fact, when we approach this conversation, I wanted us to approach it from the place of a woman, who I am, irrespective of being attached to another person in marriage or not. So I'm not being selfish by having my own money. How am I going to make a life for myself if I don't have my own money? No, it has nothing to do with selfishness. I want to be someone. I want to be somebody. Like that song says, if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. I'm not paying attention because I'm going to be a wife. I'm paying attention because God sent me into the world to achieve a particular purpose. And whether I am married or not, I am still expected to fulfill that purpose. And that purpose is, being married is just an aspect of it. That's not the totality of it. So I'm not going to leave the broad picture of why am I here? What is my identity as an individual? And what am I expected to achieve, whether I'm married or not? So I'm not being selfish by having my own money. I'm just fulfilling God's purpose for my life by having my own money.
Thank you. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. So we must approach that particular question from the perspective of identity. Extremely important, because it looks as if, there's some, I go to Sister Arnolo, I must really commend you with the kind of men that you manage on your wall. That is why I used to pick Grace, because she's so patient. The way she educates them, I don't have that kind of grace, because some of the things that they say, many of them are religious men, and they have this kind of mindset that women were created to serve them. That women were created. There was a time I read something on social media, and somebody said that women were not created to have a purpose. That was what a religious man said. And when I read that, my brain scattered, and I just wanted to do a rejoinder on my wall, but I just had to calm down, like, let me just allow them go. These are devils, and they will just spoil my day. Let me just push him out of my room. He said it. He said, women were not created to have a purpose. Your purpose is only in your husband, and you must bow to him, serve him in order to fulfill his own vision and purpose. And these are the kind of mindset that we are surrounded with. So I'm going to place that same question to Sister Onaoluwa. Please, what do you think? Do you think it's selfish for a woman to want to have her own money, or to be on the path of having our own money before marriage?
Thank you again for the question. Sorry about the interruption. I mistakenly I was trying to remove notifications, and then mistakenly ended the stream on my end.
Yeah.
So I want to look at it from the perspective of meaning. What is selfishness? When you're selfish, what does it mean? It implies that you're thinking only of your own self, and you don't have allowance or space for the needs of others. Now, a woman that does not have money, or that is not making her personal money, how can she cater for the needs of others? How can she look after the needs of her own children, or even the husband, or contribute anything to other members of the community? I've been involved in healthcare outreaches for many years, and I can tell you it costs a pretty penny. to go out to the villages and buy drugs, the logistics of moving those things to the village. You get materials, other things like gifts that you can give them. Even the volunteers, you have to at least give them transport fare. It costs a lot of money. Now, if you don't have that money or you don't have sponsors who can give you that money, you can't make that contribution. So any woman who does not even have her own money is the one, or that is not making an attempt to make her own money, is the one that is selfish. Because such a person is only caring about herself. Maybe, okay, how do I get my needs met? My husband or my father or my relatives will pay for my needs. They are not thinking of others at all. But the woman who is struggling or at least hustling to get money is the one that is actually selfless. Because while she's hustling, she's not going to spend that money alone.
Anyhow.
Even if she's not the generous type, she will definitely have maybe like a driver or like a nanny or like somebody, helps around the house that she would be paying. And that means she's contributing to their own life, their own upgrades in life, because as she pays them, they are able to meet their own family's needs too. And so such a person, if she has a business, for instance, she'll probably have attendants in the shop, or if it's like a much bigger business, she'll have employees. Even if it's 2 or 3 persons that she's paying per month, she's being selfless. Because every time she's making money, she's factoring those people into her own expenses for the month.
Network. Yeah, I think we're having a network issue right there. So let me go. Let me.
And so for me, I feel that is actually being selfish and not the one that is, selfless. The woman making her own money is the selfless woman, the one that is actually thinking of the needs of others and giving them something to at least have a little bit of hope on.
Thank you so much, sis. That's fantastic. Just to chip in my own beat, a lot of ladies are out there nowadays. I don't want to say slave queen, because me too, I'm also a slave queen. I don't want to say it because they have this kind of mindset that, let me just be baby girling and until the man comes to whisk me off my feet. But I just want to tell you one core reality. It's always easier to find your path when it comes to career or when it comes to building a business before you get into marriage. It makes it easier. If you have not found yourself and you have to wait till when you get into marriage to build a career or to build a business, it can be extremely difficult, because at that time you're not going to have issues with you're going to be having children. Then the marriage can even end up deteriorating. Why? Because you are not bringing anything to the table. So don't listen to people that will tell you that, go and get married. Why are you trying to build a career? Aren't you going to end up in a man's house? They say all this kind of derogatory stuff in order to, to demean you or to kill your enthusiasm when it comes to building a career path or building a business for yourself. So it is not a form of selfishness. It is actually a form of selflessness for a woman to build a career or a business before getting into marriage. So I'm going to go to the fourth question, and I'll be putting it to Sister Sis Onolua. So this is kind of this is a question.
Sorry. Can you re-add me?
Okay.
The volume went low, and I don't understand why. Maybe something about the network fluctuation.
Oh, okay. I think
yes, I can hear you, but it's very faint. So if you can maybe take me off and then bring me back on.
Okay, let me do that now.
Sorry.
No problem. Let me do that. Please hold on. It happens like that at times, most especially if somebody calls you on WhatsApp. Okay, let me try and bring that back on. Okay, can you hear me clearly now, Steve?
It's still the same, but I think I'll just try to manage it. I don't understand why it
but
happened.
Do you have an earpiece? Do you have an earpiece?
Yeah, but let's continue.
Well,
it's not very loud. It's not
okay. Oh, sorry. It happens like that. I think somebody called you or something happened along the way, so it will drop the volume. Sorry. Just manage.
Or if she logs, maybe she can log out of the link and then log back in.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, sis, can you shut it down totally, like log out of the link, then try to click on the link again? Do you get that? Hello, sis, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Okay, let
can.
me
I
just,
can. Sorry.
yeah, I'm going to take you out now, then close the link totally, then try to come back in as if you're coming in newly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll remove you now. Okay, so I'm going to put the next question to Sis Debbie before we have her back on the discussion. So recently, a celebrity eulogized his wife on quitting her career and joining her husband's business. That is, she joined his own business. She's a medical doctor and she gave it up for a new husband. Do you think it's wise for women, not her per se, but for women in general, to give up their careers for family?
I think there are a couple of dynamics to the question. Women make sacrifices, and sometimes men do. I think it's hard to have a marriage where there are no sacrifices. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you clearly, sis.
Okay, so but the issue is that it is important for a woman to make sure that that sacrifice is not, the sacrificing in marriage is not one-sided. You are not the only one sacrificing for that marriage, because at the end of the day, you are going to bear the brunt if you are the only one sacrificing. Marriage, it takes two, it takes partnership. I do my part, you also do your part, so that nobody is left unfulfilled in the marriage. Sometimes people pause their careers. I use the word pause because some people find themselves in situations where, oh, I have to do this for this period of time, not forever, just for this short period of time so that we can get through this period. You know, they make that sacrifice for a specific, amount of time. And there are people who give up. The word give up means I'm giving it up. You understand what I'm saying? Giving up their career for the sake of marriage. For those who pause their careers for the sake of marriage, we can say it can be circumstantial, depending on the phase where that marriage is. For example, I remember there was a time that I had to resign my job because I was getting married and I was moving to another part of Nigeria. And it was reasonable for me to do that because my husband had a more reliable job where he was. And I felt that as a healthcare professional, if I move to that place, I'll also be able to get a new job. So I sacrificed my job, resigned the job, and then moved with him to another part of Nigeria to be able to start a family. I couldn't work for a particular, time. I couldn't work for about 9 months, if I remember, for about 9 months, 9 months. I couldn't work. But this is the difference. I couldn't work, not because I didn't want to work. I couldn't work because I didn't find a job. And even though I didn't find a job, I was pregnant. At the same time, I was writing business proposals. I remember writing up to 5 business proposals while I was pregnant and looking for a job in just 9 months. By the time I was 8 months pregnant, I got a job. I remember that I shared a little of it the last time I was on the show. I was 8 months pregnant when I got that job, and they still employed me. They still employed me. And I was still number 1 on the merit list for that job. And they saw my tummy. So I made the little sacrifice just for that short period of time because for the sake of marriage, it was for the sake of marriage. Because I needed to be with my husband. I don't want us to live separately. And I also did my research. I saw the prospects of the place I was moving to. I thought, okay, I'd like to work in a place like this. I made my research. I applied on time. Immediately, I moved to that state. That same week was the time I applied. But they didn't get back to me until after a couple of months. When they didn't get back in 1 month, 2 months, I started to write proposals because I don't want to be idle. So yes, a woman can pause a career temporarily for the sake of marriage due to circumstances, which is reasonable. It's understandable. As women, we also have our biological rules. We have pregnancy, we have childbirth. All those things can set like some hurdles or obstacles, as much as we derive joy in them, but they can be obstacles for our careers at some point in time or the other. I feel that when I approach this conversation, I don't want to take away the choices of human beings, because we are all entitled to our choices and our independence as human beings, as long as we understand the consequences of our choices and what those things can bring to us. So I will not say that a woman giving up a career is a bad thing. I have a couple of questions I'm going to ask that woman. Was this career what you ever wanted to do? Is this what you love to do? Or is this what you were doing just to put food on the table? Do you find it fulfilling or not? If you're in a career path that you find fulfilling, why on earth would you ever want to give it up? Even if you don't find it fulfilling, why on earth would you want to give up your source of income permanently for the sake of marriage?
Yeah.
How are you gonna, cope with not being able to contribute meaningfully, to be able to exercise your strength and to use your minds and to contribute positively to society? I have a couple of questions to ask such a woman. And as for the celebrity who gave up her marriage, sometimes who gave up her career, I beg your pardon. Sometimes people do it on terms and conditions. We may not be privy to all the terms and conditions as it applies to their own marriage. I'd say if she's doing it for her husband's business, what are the terms and conditions? Are you just saying because it's my husband, I'm not going to put those things in place? I'm just going to go with the flow and say it's my husband. Do you have a stake in that business? Are you a co-owner in that business? Have you been placed on a regular income from that business? Have you sat down? If you are going to take up a new job, you have terms and conditions. You have sick leave, vacation. You have paid different. You have benefits. You have healthcare. You have insurance. You have life insurance. You have mat leave. You have a lot. Like, have you approached that business, your husband's business, in such a way that you have coverage, you have security, you have everything that you need to do, just as you would in a paid employment? Do you have all those things in place, or you are just acting ignorant, or you are being what do I call it? Being naive to believe that you are covered when you are not, just because you bear his name. Especially if you live in a country like Nigeria, where there are no laws, where you as a woman you are automatically vulnerable. It will be, you will be putting yourself in danger by not being aware of what your options are and how you should approach it in a way that you have security. Let me stop for now.
Oh my God, that's so as in encompassing. Thank you so much, sis. When you were talking, it was as if you saw my jottings while I was jotting down some things regarding that particular question. So sometimes women make sacrifices when it comes to marriage. And as long as it is not coercion, you are not being forced. It is your personal decision. You know that at this point in this marriage, I have to make this sacrifice. So there are times, that you have to pause your career, perhaps because of the children, perhaps because, most especially if you live, I know that it happens if you live in Nigeria also, like the experience you had since Debbie, but it's extremely common here abroad. Recently, my boss was sharing with me how her husband had to pause his own career and he had to take a night job, not a 9-to-5 job now, but a night job so that they could be there for the children. She was a finance officer, a top finance officer, and she needed to climb, to keep climbing and in order to maintain a managerial position. So what did they do? The man had to step down his own career and took a night job. So she told me that sometimes when she's about to step out of the house in the morning, the husband is coming right in and they just say, hello, hi. Then he comes into the house. She would have taken care of the children. It takes the children to school. School runs. They live in the United Kingdom. When he comes back, maybe it takes about 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Then he's going back to pick them up from school. She said sometimes she doesn't even see the husband for like 3-4 days because at times she would have left the house before he comes right in. So in this part of the world, men also understand that there are times that they have to give up their career. It's in Nigeria that it's a big deal, and people will be like, "Oh, this one has turned the man to, how they say these things in Yoruba, and the husband is the wife now because if he has to give up his career, people are going to rise up and make you feel like you are a fool for giving up your career in the place of your wife. It is automatically expected that it is the woman that should give up her career. And that is why I love it around this, this climb of the world. They understand that this is family. So it is, everybody has to be, it has to be 50-50. So it is, if I'm the one that has the better career, then I should be able to, to keep it up, while the one that has maybe the career is not really booming, or they feel that they could give it up, then they can step down in order for the family to run appropriately and excellently. So sometimes sacrificing in marriage is non-negotiable. It happens, and life puts you in such kind of situation. So I don't think women should be made to feel like they are being senseless if they decide that they need to sacrifice at this particular time for their family. So, Sister Sitonolua, over to you. Please, can you chip in your own opinion about this particular question?
I actually loved the angle she came in from, that she weighed her options. Like, looked at it that, okay, I can get another job in that place. And of course, her husband had a more stable job. This is what I also feel, that marriage is partnership. And whenever there is a need for a sacrifice to be made, it should not automatically fall to the woman. What I have observed is that most times it's the woman that is expected to just sacrifice. Like, anytime there is a sacrifice to be made, hey, woman, come here, bring your head on the chopping block, bah. And then she's the one that is sacrificed. That should not be so. Like, there are times we read on social media, we have maybe, for instance, a husband is earning 90K or 50K, and then they say the wife is earning 700K in Abuja. Who should resign? And I'm like, hello, are you guys okay? Like, is everything all right with you? Why should you have a wife earning like something that is close to 1 million naira, and then you're asking the question that who should resign? Isn't it obvious enough? Like, in today's Nigeria, should it be that the family would have to be dependent on an income of maybe 90,000 or 50,000 naira just because it is the wife that is earning better? It shouldn't be so. Like the example you also gave, that your boss was talking about her husband taking a nice job. That is how it should be. Like, the husband and wife should sit down, have a conversation, like, okay, which job is more stable? Where do we actually want to settle? For instance, I don't see any point, taking your family to a more volatile area, especially if the income from the job there is not going to be enough to even cater for the family. And if the wife will not have options of maybe business or another job in that place, so you weigh the pros and cons of the two places that you have, your jobs in, and then find out, okay, which one is the better option for the family. I've actually seen instances where husband and wife both resigned from Nigeria just to relocate abroad because they were thinking of their children. It wasn't because they had better jobs abroad. They had not even gotten the jobs abroad, but they left everything here because they looked at it as a family and felt, okay, for the sake of our children, future education, prospects and everything, it's better we are abroad. And they made that decision. So for me too, when it comes to who should sacrifice, it should always be a team decision. Like, what does this team need to do for the better progress? Every family should have a plan. Like, okay, this is where we want to be in the next 10 years. This is where we want to be in the next 20 years. And so whichever one aligns with your family plan is what you should stick with and what you should do. It should not be the woman that necessarily has to resign or that necessarily has to, leave her own job. And the celebrity case you mentioned, well, I wouldn't know about their private life. But one thing is that when such things happen, you're putting the woman at risk. Because if, God forbid, any negative thing happens to the husband, if she's not well protected, then it could mean that she doesn't have an income. We've had series of movies that told us stuff like that. A very rich man will just maybe suddenly have a downturn in his business. And then the next thing is that the wife starts suffering because the husband had made her resign beforehand. Yeah, my boss is calling for my attention. Just a minute, let me
Man.
just go off audio.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, sis. That was a brilliant contribution right there. Thank you so much. So we're going to go right. Okay, we're going to have a short break now, and we'll be right back just in 10 seconds. So welcome back. If you're just joining us, my name is Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arodudu, and with me today is Sis Debbie Adara and Sis Onoluwa Abimbola, and we are having a conversation on the woman and her money. If you're just joining us, you have to catch up from the beginning because we've had a lot of brilliant questions that has been answered brilliantly, and you need to start from the beginning in order to get an inkling and a lot of things to be learned from the answers given so far. So I'm going to go right into the number 5 question, sis, before we have Sister Nolua back. So number 5 question is, the sacrifice women make in marriage are never appreciated. And I say this categorically because of the many opinions of men and women, and even some women, okay, because of the many opinions of men and even some women that we read and that we hear all around us. Recently, like I'm giving these examples because this is the social media, and we get to read a lot of things that sparks up our interest or that inspires us to have conversations like this. So a celebrity marriage, it was released into the media that they were going to have a divorce, and a lot of comments were being written on the social media. I'm going to share like 2 comments now, and we're going to have a conversation around these comments. Please hold on. The number 1 comment is, please, if you are on the talk show, just listen to me as I read this comment. Somebody was writing about the celebrity divorce that was all over the social media last week, and this was a comment from a man. He said, "How exactly did Anita contribute to the growth of the P Square brand? Is there any evidence anyone asked her to pause her career? Is there any evidence?" Please, I need everyone listening to me, most especially if you're a woman, to mark that place. Is there any evidence anyone asked her to pause her career? Or if she was not doing anything at all? Enough of all this cock and bull story. Then the person who made the post, Miliaku Genevieve, she's my friend on social media, on Facebook, then she responded to him. She said, he could write songs, go on tours, and spend hours in the studio as a married man with kids because Anita held it down at home. Then she ended it with, I shouldn't even be responding to you. Then here is the second comment from the same person. He said, how many songs did Anita write for P Square or Rude Boy? How exactly did she build him? Emotions do not win cases in courts. Facts do. Of course, we know that. Enough of all this emotional bullshit. And he ended it with, Anita was lazy and unproductive. A business was opened up for her, but she ran it to the ground. She couldn't even build anything for herself, let alone helping another person to build anything. This was a comment that was shared on the social media. Please, I need you to pay attention. If you're watching this, pay attention to this part that he said. Is there any evidence anyone asked her to pause her career? So I need to quickly make a comment on that particular evidence thing. This is to tell you that as today's woman, if you're going to have this kind of conversation with your husband, when it comes to pausing your career, there must be something to show that both of you are in agreement with it. You have to, because these are the things that you're going to say if anything goes wrong in the future. They're going to ask you that, what was the evidence? Perhaps the man, you both of you agree by word of mouth. He himself would ask you in future, if he's a bad and a terrible man, that what is the evidence that I asked you to pause your career? And from that comment, I began to understand a lot of things about the mindset of the society against women. It means that sometimes some of the sacrifices that we make, it's our cup of tea as far as they are concerned. So this society, women are like oranges that they squeeze and they can throw out the trash. Once you are squeezed out, then you are being thrown into the bin. And this is why you need to be on top of your game. But before I continue to wrap, please, over to you, sis Debbie, please. From the screenshot I just shared so far.
Oh my goodness.
Please hold on. Let me continue that. Okay. So let me continue. Please tell us from the bottom of your heart what it means for a woman. Or okay, hold on, please. Do you want to address that screenshot first before I go to this last question that wraps it all up?
Yes, we can address the screenshot first.
Please let us address it. Or do you want me to share the screenshot again?
Don't share it again. I don't want to hyperventilate.
Oh, since Anoluwa, did you get the screenshot? Did you read it?
I was hearing you read it out, and
okay,
I don't.
Okay, please. I had to, when I saw it, I had to save it somewhere. Like, so this is the way that these people reason. When a man and a woman sits down and they agree that, okay, I have decided I want to pause my career, and the husband is in support. Then something happens tomorrow, somebody somewhere will rise up and ask you that, where is the evidence? That is to say, where is the evidence?
Who sent you?
Over.
Who sent you? Your boss is with Aloro any share. Oh my God. I think that one of the major problems of us women is our naivety. We are so trusting that we have become so careless. And as much as trust is supposed to be a part of a relationship, it's legit a part. There is no relationship without trust. But the world is not carved that way. The world is carved to make us victims. So you have to be intentional to not be a victim.
You have to be intentional to not be a victim. Please, if you are following us, can you help me put that in the comment section? You have to be intentional to not be a victim.
I remember that I wrote a Facebook post last Sunday.
That post was even part of your post, and Sister Onoluwa's post were part of the reason why I had to bring up this conversation, because you addressed key points. Please go on.
And even though one or two people came to argue about it, not many, most of them stayed clear this one. Because when I had that when I was in that conversation, the men that were there, some of them are still my friends on Facebook. So they know that conversation happened. They remember. You know, men gathering and just chit-chatting, and I was there. I was the only female there. And one of them just asked and said, what do women mean when they say they are suffering with men? What do they mean when they say they are suffering with men?
With men.
And some of them laughed, and the others were quiet. None of them explained it. None of them said, my own wife, she has really tried. She has really suffered. I know what she has done. None of them.
None.
That is the true picture. So women in their minds think that they get a trophy or they get the glory by the amount of suffering or the amount of tribulation they go through being married or being in a relationship with a man. It is a fallacy. The truth is, what your perception is different from the perception of the man. You will not know the true perception of the man until there's an issue, like a divorce or a separation. All the while, you think you have done well as a wife. You think that you've done everything society asked of you. But when push comes to shove, you would realize that they will tell you there was no proof. The conversation never happened. And what proof do you have? You were just being lazy. Other women are on the streets, walking, doing things. Why did you stay at home? The first thing I say is there are two major factors. There is ego and there is control. And then there is women. Now, ego do not make many men to admit sacrifices of their women. Number two, control will not allow them to admit it because The moment they admit that you have been a huge part of their success, it's like they're saying that because you have been a huge part of my success, you also have a huge chunk of the reward. They don't want you to have such level of control. Number three, women themselves do not acknowledge their own sacrifices enough.
Yeah.
So society wants us to be humble about the things that you do.
Humble.
Don't talk about it. So if you buy a car for yourself and somebody comes and say, oh, you just bought this nice car, your husband is trying you. You can't say, no, I bought it by myself. You are a bad wife.
You're proud, though.
Even though you bought it by yourself with your own money, you are still expected to give the glory to your husband. That is what makes you a good wife. So you have
Life.
covered that sacrifice.
You
The
have
fact
covered
that you
him.
worked hard, you sweated, you put your effort into it, and you made money and you bought a car for your own self. But you still have to give the glory to your husband to be a good wife. That is the trap. Because society will keep asking you, okay, the person that you told you that, oh yes, let me thank him. Oh, how is he going to look at you as a hardworking woman? Another thing is that we trivialize our own sacrifices. If you remember, Sister Tosin, a Facebook post that I made about a year ago about what women go through in labor. And one woman there came to say, it's no big deal now. It's not just to go to the labor.
I remember that woman. I remember that conversation. Yeah.
There's no big deal now. So we try to act strong and trivialize how huge the sacrifice of pregnancy and childbirth is, so that society can call us strong women.
Strong women.
So we make it look like, no, it's no big deal. It's just a little pregnancy and a little labor. It's no big deal. We trivialize our own sacrifices. When women pay the school fees of their children, they can't say it out. They can't say it to the children. They can't say it to the society that they're the ones paying. So how will the society look at you as the one making the sacrifices? How will they agree that you've made any sacrifices? What is the proof? Look, truly, what is the proof? Because we don't talk about it. Women, we will do something. Let me tell you one funny thing that I discovered. Men are not ashamed to take glory for the things that they don't do.
For the things that they don't do.
They're not ashamed to take the glory because it's about ego. That is how they build their own ego up. If you are by your husband or by your spouse and you just bought something and you bought it as a woman and the man is there, somebody says, Madam, oh, your husband bought this for you. Your husband is a good man. Your husband is not likely to say, I did not buy it. He's not likely to say that. But what about women? Even when you have done it for yourself, you bought yourself a huge birthday gift. You still say, thank my husband, who is taking care of me. We have not said, who asked you questions?
Who asked you?
Who asked you? Did we say he's not taking care of you? But that particular gift, did you buy it yourself or not? What is wrong in you admitting as a hardworking woman that you just bought yourself a gift? So all of the sacrifices that we make as women, all the innumerable, unquantifiable sacrifices that we make by ourselves, we put them underneath. We are quiet about them. Who is going to give you the glory if you don't give yourself the glory that you are due of? That is not humility. If you did not do it and you said you did it, that would be lying. But you did it. You worked hard for it. You are not lying. If I say, oh, I bought myself this car, I did a job and God blessed me through it and I bought myself a car. Is it a lie? Am I proud? Is that pride?
So
that is not pride. So, but why give the glory to somebody else so that society can look at you like a woman that is being done everything for? So these are the real issues.
It also comes from the selfishness of the women. Like you want society to look at you like a woman that everything is being done for, like a woman that is being pampered. You know, sometimes you see them on social media. My husband bought me a new car. Then when the marriage packs up, you begin to see these women exposing themselves like, oh, I bought that car for myself because I was trying to cover him. And make other women jealous.
Yes.
Please go on.
Do men cover women? Do men cover women? I ask these salient questions because even when a couple is going through infertility, and the man knows that is the one that is the cause of the infertility, it's not likely to admit it to family, to friends that is the problem. it's still likely to leave that gap open to allow society to think that it's the woman, because
It's the
usually
woman.
society
Why?
automatically thinks it's the woman.
Things. The woman.
So ask people, do men cover women? So why do you think it is your purpose in life to cover someone that will not cover you?
Cover you.
The aim of marriage is to cover one another.
Cover one another.
But why cover someone while leaving yourself unshielded? Why cover someone who is exposing you? Why cover someone who is making you vulnerable? That is foolishness.
Yeah.
As much as we want to think that it is our place, it is our duty to build that home, you are not a bricklayer. It is both of you that must be building. Or else it's going to end up in regrets for you. You're going to look back and look at many things that you have done that were uncalled for, that were unnecessary. So these are the real issues. I'm just going to stop and allow Sis Abimbola to
Oh my God, you said a lot already. Please, Sister Onoluwa, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. I want to look at it from the aspect of everything a woman does in the home is sacrifice. Everything. Like, it's usually common that in most homes, the woman takes care of basic chores like cooking, cleaning. Before you find the man actually actively doing some of those things, it's maybe some of these men that have backgrounds where they were trained and thought that it is not a female thing to do. Now, you now have instances where women at work have to like either reduce their productivity just so they can function effectively at home. I have been in a training since I think that was Wednesday I left, and I came back just today, and I was speaking with a senior nurse, and she was saying when she was raising her children, she would not come for this training. That at that time, she would just know that anything that has to take her away from home for 4 or 5 days, she's not going. Now, I went with my baby and a nanny because, of course, the training was intensive because I couldn't stay with me in class, of course, and we had classes from morning till evening. So the first time I went for training after I gave birth to my baby, my husband went with me, and reactions from my colleagues were like, wow, as in it was so surprising to me because they felt like, oh, your husband is carrying your baby while you're in class and all of that. The usual thing is the woman is doing this and the husband is, building his own career. So it's like the norm in the Nigerian society to have the woman. This boy wants to sleep and he's just not agreeing anymore.
Oh yeah, so just round up then I'll let you go, sis.
And there is no nanny here, there's no daddy here to carry you except me.
Okay. So should I let you go?
It's not even about him seeing the screen. He wants to sleep.
Sorry, darling. Sorry. I think Sister Nonu, I think you said a lot already. So at this point, I'm just going to let you go, okay? You can watch behind the scene. Is that fine? Oh, okay. Let me leave you. Okay. So, yeah. From that screenshot that I just shared, sis, I just want women to pay attention. If you're making these sacrifices, there must be something that is documented. I'm not saying be rigid or be mechanical, but this is the kind of society that we have found ourselves. So you mustn't leave yourself unshielded, because if push comes to shove tomorrow, they're going to question you like, yeah? And when men want to step out, you are like an enemy. They're going to view you like a clog in their wheel. So they're going to do everything to take you out of the way. And this is why you hear stuff like, what is the evidence that the husband agreed with her that she should quit her career? And they went further to say that there is nothing that she builds that is productive. These are the things that are going to be said if anything happens to that marriage tomorrow. So women need to begin to step up Be intentional. Don't leave yourself unshielded. Be on the same place, as in be on the same page with your husband. Don't begin to think that the way you trust him, the way you can vouch for him, is the same way that he can vouch for you. The truth is that if anything happens tomorrow, he's going to throw you under the bus. Nobody wishes for these things to happen, but these are the realities. These are the things that we see out there. And this is why it is very important that you also have something to do. All of us cannot build careers because of the, sometimes the family and all that doesn't give us the opportunity to build maybe a 9-to-5 career or to climb up the ladder. But you can build the business from the comfort of your home. You can learn a skill. There are lots of skills that are out there. There are lots of coaches that are online that are ready to give you an inkling into the kind of skill that you can learn and begin to generate income. And for women living abroad, it's so beautiful that if you have to quit your career, the government supports you in most countries. They're going to earn things like benefits, child benefits, and all that. It comes in every month. These are the monies that you can receive in order to, hold body and soul together, and even to build something out of such money. So sometimes when we receive such money abroad, it is time for you to begin to think like, okay, what can I build with this kind of money? Don't just leave yourself unattended because you're building family. Because these are the reasons why we have a lot of toxic women out there, because they are not living a fulfilled life. They are toxic, they are bitter, they are beaten and battered as a result of raising a family. And they are not attending to themselves. So you have been created for a purpose. You have an identity before marriage. So you need to begin to, if you've not found yourself, go back to the manufacturer, which is God, and ask him, why am I here? Your entirety is not about marriage alone. Marriage is just a part of the journey. So, sis Onolua, okay. Let me leave you.
It's just one of the sacrifices that we make. Like,
just imagine. This is a practical example.
One thing that encourages me to actually bring my baby on talk shows or anything I have to do is because before marriage, I was always thinking, oh, once you get married and your children start coming, then you have to pull back. Because of course, you can't always expect that your husband will be the one to make the sacrifice. So you also have to make the major sacrifice. That was my expectation until I saw the president of New Zealand. She's female. And on Twitter, there was a particular photo of her. She was addressing parliament and she had a baby right on her laps and she was nursing. And then I felt, wow, this is like where, like the civilized climes where you might even think, oh, they don't want to see babies or something like that. If she can do that, then what's stopping me from going with my baby to trainings and stuff? And so I told myself, I won't allow the fact that I have a baby to stop me or pull me back from
limit you.
I just have to realize that a baby is not a burden. No one on the planet Earth that was never a baby. So if at all there is any time that, okay, I have to go somewhere and it looks as if my baby will be maybe a distraction, then I just have to find maybe someone to assist me with him for some hours while I do what I have to do. If that's not possible, I find a way around it too. So that's my own policy. But now, forgetting about childcare, the aspect of advancing in your career, like if, for instance, I am working in the finance sector, or maybe let me see which career would require me to be, like if I'm working in the corporate world, for instance, not government or academia, where I have more flexible time. As a woman, if I want to advance to the C-suits, like the executive cadre up there, then I have to be ready to make sacrifices of time. Like there could be meetings that will run till late in the night. There could be need for urgent travels and stuff like that. Now, for many women, the reason why even in the civilized countries, we have fewer women in the C-suits or the higher echelon of executives is because for most women, once they start having a family, they realize that they need to sacrifice and, pull back. But like she said, it is not documented. There is no document like a prenuptial agreement that says, okay, you're going to, do this. so that the family can stand. My mom is someone that she made a lot of sacrifices that almost even, should I say, it reduced or let me tell the story. When we were younger, she would go to Jos, daddy would take care of us. As she was going for French, she was a French teacher. But then she said, okay, she had NC, she wanted to go for a degree program. And the degree program was not in Ogun State. We were living in Ogun State. She either had to go to either Ilorin or some other Ibadan or some other places. And because of the fact that my dad is a missionary, he's not always at home. So for him to have the freedom to travel, she chose to put her degree on hold until we were in the secondary school before she started. And that delay ended up costing her 12 years of promotion. She was not promoted for 12 solid years. Like, she was stagnant on a level. Ogun State Teaching Service Committee, she was very stagnant on that level because she did not have a degree on time. She eventually got her degree maybe 2004 or so. I was already in the university myself before she finished her own degree. And so that was a sacrifice she made. But because she was always talking about it, we all knew that, oh, mommy did this. She put her life on hold for us. But there are some women, they don't talk about the sacrifices they are making. And so, God forbid anything happens, world people will come and say, oh, what did she do now? They gave her business she could not run. They will not understand that the business, she couldn't run it because she had to have time. Brother, you want to sleep? Sorry. Oh.
Just round up and I'll let you go after this. Please just round up.
Yeah. So let me just conclude by saying that in actual fact, most of the women they say cannot run businesses, cannot run it because they are not spending time on the business like someone that has enough time on their hands. Some of them, I know stories of women that the husband will say, okay, I'm setting up this business for you. And then the husband stops giving her money for food. And she has to take the food money from that shop. Eventually, they will say, all this Yoruba stuff. Whereas they are the ones that they are the ones that actually ate up the whole shop because the monthly upkeep, the woman is taking it from the shop. The husband will not pay for maybe clothes. There are so many things that are just wrong. And then at the end of the day, they say the woman is not industrious, so she doesn't have a business acumen. They are not talking about the fact that since he set her up in business, he expected a fledgling business that has not yet started making profit to actually fend for the home. So maybe for him, all he just does is pays the house rent, or maybe maintains the family car or pays the children's school fees, feeding, clothes, nothing. He will not do anything about it. The woman will be picking it from that business until the business goes down. Then they'll say, hey, I set her up with a hairdressing shop. She did not do well. I set her up with a provisional shop. She did not do well. At the end of the day, the woman did not document. I learned something from my mom. If she's spending 1 kobo, she's writing it down. So at the end of the day, if anybody asks her, hey, mama, because my dad is a missionary, he was not earning a salary for like all through when we're in school. Yes, there could be occasional gifts, like people will give pastors and stuff. But I can tell you that my mom will always account and say, hey, this is what we spent this month. We don't want to know whether it's daddy that gave half or daddy that gave 1/4. All she knows is that everything she's buying is documented. And I would advise every woman to do the same thing. Have a budget. Make sure you have a list of what you're buying every month for the house. Because a lot of men will say, I give you 30,000 naira. How can you tell me there's no food in the house? They've not been to markets in like the last maybe 1 month. They don't know that the cost of food has actually gone up. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's kind of static. It's stiff right
like
now.
Yeah, keep something. I'm not sure what's happening. So, yeah, but those men, they're not going to the markets. They don't know that fish is so expensive. Pepper, tomatoes, everything is expensive. So in their mind, they are thinking, after all, 30,000 was what I used to give you 2 years ago. Why is it not enough now? The wife is not telling them that I'm actually augmenting. Like, if I were to use only that one, maybe we will not eat for up to 2 weeks. But most women cover up, like you said, and so they don't actually document the things they are doing to make sure the family is stable. But if we as women would actually write down what we do, what we spend, as well as any sacrifices we are making, then it will make it easier for the husbands to be appreciative. But whatever in my own profession, we say whatever is not written or whatever is not documented is not done. So if you don't document your sacrifice, you have not done anything actually. So if the men tell you, what have you done? They are justified because you never told your story. You never wrote it down. You didn't put it down anywhere that, oh, this is what I'm actually going through, or this is what I am actually spending. So they are justified if they think that what they were giving is what the family was spending. They are very justified because you kept your mouth shut and were covering up what you were supposed to actually expose. At least to your husband. You should be able to communicate with your husband and say, these are the sacrifices I am making. For the family. Not just continue to, keep quiet about it in the name of being a virtuous or good wife. There's no virtue in keeping quiet about the sacrifices you make. Even God, when God does things for us, God reminds us occasionally. People might say, oh, siregu for me, but no, me o siregu. I'm just reminding you so that in case human memory is short, you can forget. Let me remind you that this is what I am actually doing. And you should be grateful. You should thank me. Like, I know I did that recently, and after I finished, I sat down and I was like, you said you can talk. But I think it's necessary to actually do it so that the person does not, forget your value. Like, if you don't actually share what you have brought to the table, people will be blinded by other things that are around them that are distracting them. And they forget that, oh, wow, this is who this person is to me. And there is this concept of, they say woman suffering with man. And I'm always like, why don't we hear of men suffering for a woman or suffering with a woman? Like, why is it the usually common one you hear is that, oh, and she suffered with him when he didn't have money? Like, I've seen stories. My parents were marriage counselors, and I saw stories of men that when they had nothing, the wife they had then, immediately after they just made a little bit of money like this, the next thing is the papa will look for one yo-yo, new girl. And the next thing is the woman that has suffered for years is no longer, in fashion. She's not, the next thing that you'll be hearing is that she dresses like an old woman and she's not fine and she's not presentable. She's not this one and she can't speak good English. She can't do this one. And I'm like, women, their husbands that cannot speak good English, they are still proud and they will still be, they
will show him off.
The man up. But let it be a man that the wife cannot speak good. That's why I love Good Luck Jonathan.
Yeah, like, in fact, I wanted to mention that. Please go on.
Good Luck Jonathan. I love him. Like, I am always like, Patience Jonathan was, you could say she was an embarrassment to him. Like, his presidency, she was an embarrassment to the presidency. But he never for once, like, you wouldn't even have any inkling of him maybe saying, maybe he's having girlfriend somewhere or something like that. He never even spoke negatively against her.
He wasn't disgusted. His body language was not disgusted with her.
If you read his body language, honestly. And the story some people said was that she's actually the political juggernaut. She's the one that got him on the political scene. And I said it's because he's a grateful person. If he were not a grateful person, he could actually edge her away immediately.
If he were not a grateful man, she would not be the first lady.
We've had presidents before that it wasn't their first wife that was actually on the the Aso Rock Villa with them. We've had that before. So for
Mhm.
me, I feel that before you have men like that, we really should celebrate them. And then we should stop this idea of women sacrificing, women doing this and making that the norm. Let everybody sacrifice. Let
Everybody
the men
sacrifice.
sacrifice. Let the women sacrifice. Let everybody come together and build this home that we actually want to see.
Mhm.
They will always talk about the fact that a wise woman builds her home. And I will say, do you people forget that the Bible also says, I will build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it? That is
Prevail.
Jesus, who is the groom,
Hmm.
actually building the bride. The church is the bride. And he is saying, I will build my church, I will build my bride. So
Hmm.
if you are a bridegroom, then you should know that you're the one to groom your bride. So whatever you're seeing in your wife is actually what you have put inside of her. Like basically that is the analogy to use for a woman. If a woman is good to you, know that you have deposited things in her that she's now returning to you. But once you're saying, oh, this woman is this, she's this, that, just know that is what you have planted that you are reaping. Because a
Reaping.
woman would always give you back in multiples. We are we are the ones that multiply whatever you bring.
Hmm.
So for me, I just feel those who say, what did she contribute or how did she help him? Those ones don't know anything. Because if they actually understood the fact that a man that has an unstable family life cannot even do much, because while his head is boiling from the trauma and the
Hmm.
wahala in the home, he cannot compose better songs. He can't even have peace of mind to go anywhere and
Exactly.
do what he needs to do. But
Hmm.
because the woman has given him peace of mind, she has ensured that whenever he comes home, his needs are met. That is why he's able to function and be
Function
productive.
appropriately.
So the same thing for women too. When their husbands are at least giving them peace of mind, they are able to function better. But
Hmm.
when you have a woman that the husband is maybe emotionally abusing or physically abusing, you find out that she would deteriorate in some of the areas where she's supposed to do better. So the issue is, let us document our sacrifices. Let us
Sacrifices.
always write out what we do, and then let us remind them that this is what I am actually doing. This is what I'm contributing to the family, so that God forbid any negative thing happen, there will be nobody that will say you were just a parasite leeching on your husband.
Hmm.
It will be that they know that, no, this woman, she's the araba behind, his success. Like she's the foundation, or she's the rock behind his success. So we
Hmm.
need to tell our stories and not
Hmm.
allow people who don't even have any say in the family
Hmm.
tell our stories for us.
For us. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. Before I read out the conclusion so that Sis Debbie can help us wrap it up, I just want to point something out. Like when you were talking, sis, you said something like, "Oh, when the man now makes it, then he begins to look at the woman like, oh, she cannot dress well. She's not up to
Yeah.
par. I don't need her. She cannot, stand on this podium with me." Like they're looking for a way to edge you out. I want to have like a pep talk to women. If you are struggling with a man, don't neglect yourself. You have to take with the little that you have, make sure that you are finding ways to advance yourself. There are a lot of
So,
courses online that are free. Go to Udemy, go to Coursera, look for ways to build yourself. And poverty is not a reason for you to look shabby. You need to take care of yourself. I'm not saying be flashy or begin to dress in a kind of way that is not suitable for you, but make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Don't let yourself go, because we women, if we are not taking good care of ourselves and we allow poverty to sink us, it tells on our skin. It begins to tell
yeah.
on your skin that you begin to look older than your age. And sometimes when you build your knowledge and you begin to, you are getting more knowledgeable, it tells on you as a woman, because you become beautiful from inside out. So poverty is not a reason for you to neglect yourself, because I can tell you, majority of the men will begin to resent you when they get to that place that they are aspiring to get to. They will
Yeah.
resent you and begin to look for ways to play you out. Most men are not grateful. Can you see what somebody is saying that, oh, she's unproductive, oh, she ruins things? And this is a woman that you can tell, you can say that she's one of those women that, they look good, they take good care of themselves and all that. So don't let yourself go because you're experiencing poverty or you're struggling with a man. With the little that you have, make sure that you take good care of yourself out of it. Then advance yourself when it comes to knowledge. So, Sis Debbie, please, you're going to help us round up. I want to read this out. Then you round up. Then we draw the curtain on the show for today. So please tell us, sis, because Sis Onolu has said a lot already. Tell us from the bottom of your heart what it means for a woman to raise children all alone with the father just providing and not all that physically present. The work involved, the emotional and physical investment, and why it should never be trivialized by the society, no matter what happens to the marriage. Over to you, sis.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. Honestly, I don't know where to start from. Parenting is hard. Parenting is hard, very hard. And most women just approach it from the angle of this is what society demands, and that's what I have to do. They don't look at what is the intensity of the work that is in front of me. Do I have the capacity for it? But the fact that you have a womb does not make you an automatic mother. Parenting takes way more than having a womb. It takes way more than being able to get pregnant. Parenting is, for me, is the most difficult job ever.
Extremely difficult.
I have 3 kids, and all 3 of them are different from one to the other. They are different. I have to use different approaches. I have to use different methods to be able to get through each of them. That the intensity of such work needs a lot of planning, needs a lot of intentionality, needs a lot of, you saying, I'm ready for this, financially, emotionally, spiritually. It is hard. As Christians, we want to say, oh, I want my child, I want to put my child in the way of the Lord, I want to teach my child all of this. At the end of the day, you discover that you still have to resort to prayer because it's not in your hands. Salvation belongs to God. You still have to tell God, please teach this child your ways. Help me teach him yourself. Because it's not just about what you say. It's about God. Can you get through to him? Can you touch his heart? Can you touch his heart or his heart? So I can't explain the amount of work. Everybody can make money. We can, as women, as men, we can all go out and make money and provide for the family. Parenting is way more than, like I said, it starts from women being intentional about their biological rules. First of all, now it is a rule carved in stone that as a woman, you should not have the number of children that you cannot raise alone. Now, when people say that, it sounds like, why are you so negative? It's unfair. Like 2 people, oh yeah, men can live. They can live. It is hard for women to leave their children. Men can leave you and the children, and that is common. I have someone that is close to me that is divorced with 2 kids, and the court asked the man to be paying 10,000 naira per month, and he's still not paying. When we sat down and we calculated the amount of money she spent on bread per month.
Bread.
Bread. The kids love to eat bread. So one of them can finish a loaf of bread. I heard that a loaf of bread is now 400 naira in Nigeria. I'm not sure. So 400, if they eat bread 5 times a week, they eat 2. That's 800 times 5. That's 4,000 per week. That is 16,000 per month. Now, the court is saying pay 10,000 per month. It's not enough to cover bread, and it's still not paying. Will the woman leave her kids to starve?
No.
It is true that we do not go into marriage to become divorced. We do not plan to become widows, but these things happen. If it happens, what are you going to do? Do you have the capacity to raise those kids alone, that they will not put finger in your hand and say, why did you bring us into this world? Because this is 2021. Kids are putting fingers into the eyes of their parents. Don't be naive. They will ask you questions that will make you cry. So be intentional about what you are doing with your womb. It is your womb. You get pregnant if you want to get pregnant. If you are married to someone and you are not seeing the zeal and the enthusiasm to put in the work for parenting, to put in the work for finances, let's not lie to ourselves. Why should anyone bring kids into the world, to this world today, in this present age, that they are not willing to leave something tangible for? If that man is not working hard enough, is not putting his energy into the spirituality to teach the children, raise them, to ask about the future, to ask, don't go and be popping kids like you will suffer. And you are popping kids because it says, you see, we need a boy, we need one. Which child would you spend money on? Own your biological womb. Own it. God gave you the womb for a reason. That means that decision lies on you. And why did God give you that decision? Because a woman knows the gravity of parenting. A woman sees the future from the beginning. We have that foresight. If a relationship is likely to fail, a woman is likely to see the signs.
Yeah.
It is your decision whether to overlook those signs or to be intentional with the signs. But you are likely to see it as a woman. But women ignore these signs. And then we say, when I was a child, I planned I was going to have 4 kids, so I'm going to have them. Even when your circumstances do not favor it, you still want to have them? No. So there is a lot of work to be done as women. Don't have kids that you cannot raise by yourself. If push comes to shove, if something happens, just in case something happens, can you raise 1 child alone? That's what you should have. Can you raise 2 children alone? That's what you have. Have the number of children that can raise alone. As a woman, have something doing for yourself. Wealth is not, nobody says wealth can only be gotten by men. Plan it in your heart that your children are going to look back and say, my mother was an amazing woman. My mother gave me a solid life. My own mother is my first mentor. I tell people, my mom did not have formal education. She got to primary 3 and that was where she stopped. But my mom fried chin-chin and she built a house from frying chin-chin. That's the mother that raised me. So you cannot be a child and say you want to be lazy. Where would you say you got it from? Where would you? So be a woman that your children will say, my mom did this for us. My mom laid down a good example for us to follow. My mom mentored us in a way that we can never be lazy. We can never be hungry. Be that woman for your children. They can look up to you and they can be impressed. And they can be, they can be willing to go out there and conquer the world. Have something doing, have a business. Look into the financial markets. What can I do? Learn a skill and make something great out of it. Grind, work hard. Do it first for yourself. Then do it for your children because they never asked to be born. Do it for yourself, then do it for your children. And leave the distractions out. Sometimes in relationships, in marriages, there's so much noise around you. Focus. What do you want to do to improve your life? Face your life if you have to. Yes, put the energy into the marriage, but sometimes if the noise is too much, shift the attention. Because when push comes to shove, it is what you have you're left with. So put enough energy into building your life. Make a good career. If you have to go back to school. People go to school and work at the same time. Do what you have to do and make a good life for yourself. So that when you tell your story to your children, they can be happy. They can look at your story and it can influence them positively to go out and conquer. Regardless of how stable the love you have with your partner, that love can end. Regardless of how stable their income is or their finances is, that finances can come down. Anything can happen. They might run out. Bible says, woe unto him that puts his trust in into a man. It's not that it's a bad thing to trust. It's just that anything can happen and it will be out of your hands. Yes. So what are you doing to secure your future for yourself? Don't wait for anybody to secure it for you. Secure it by yourself. You have the capacity. Your parents sent you to school for a reason, so that you can be an independent, self-serving person. Like you can take care of yourself by yourself. We are not leaving the place of God out of this, of course, but God is not going to go out for you and work and earn money for you. You do it by yourself. God gave you the capacity. You have the knowledge. You have the intelligence. You have the willpower. You have the strength. Go out and get it. Use that determination for something. Lastly, I'm going to say, value yourself. If you value yourself, you will know that there are so many destinies that are relying on you. So many people that it is your story that will impact them positively to go out there. So make sure that your story ends well. Make sure that your story ends in a good way, and do what you have to do to make sure that you make a good life for yourself.
Ooh,
Thank you so much.
awesome. Brilliant. Thank you so, so much, amazing panelists. Sister Nolua Abimbola, thank you so much for coming out of your busy schedule and for bringing on baby to be a part of the panelists. I'm so grateful and honored, and we have learned a whole lot from you. Sis Debbie Adara, thank you so much for schooling us. Thank you for pouring out, and thank you for the points that you have hit so far. I'm going to go sit down and I'm going to watch the talk show from the beginning to the end with, well focused. Thank you for the points that you have touched. Women should value themselves. Women should learn how to focus. Women should, like Sister Onoluwa said, women should tell their story. Don't be quiet or be silent and be forming good woman that wants to cover up. Whereas if anything happens tomorrow, they're going to throw you under the bus. So learn how to verbalize your sacrifice. Learn how to, tell your own story with your own mouth. And at this point, I'm going to let you go, sisters. Thank you so, so much for this amazing discussion. It's a beautiful conversation. And personally, I have learned a whole lot. And I look forward to bringing you back on the talk show in the nearest future to have this kind of conversation. I want to wish you a blessed and a beautiful week. God bless you, and my regards to the family. As a form of thank you, I'm going to reach out to Sister Onoluwa and get you a t-shirt from Other Creations, inscribed, a t-shirt with an inscription. And Sister Debbie, I will get in touch with you also. I know it's far, but I'll get in touch with you and we'll find a way to get around it. So thank you so much, sisters. My regards to the family. Have a fantastic week. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye. Wow, what an amazing conversation. These are these brilliant women, they've shined the light in different areas of a woman's life. And when it comes to her having her own money. After this conversation, I don't believe any woman should still be thinking or feeling guilty of her having to pursue a path that will generate income for her. If you have not yet found yourself and you don't know the purpose for which you're created, I want to introduce my power book to you, Identity. It is tagged Self-Discovery, Purpose, and Leadership. No matter the level you are right now, if you are in the low of low, the first step that you need to take is to discover yourself. There is a purpose for which you are created. And if you've not found that purpose, go back to the manufacturer, which is God. God is the creator of each and every one of us. Go back. There's nobody that has gone back to the manufacturer, God, that he has not shown the reason for why they are created. Ranging from Joyce Meyer to T.D. Jakes to Miles Monroe, these prominent, men and women, they all had at a point in time had to go back to their manufacturer in order for him to show them the reason for which they are created. And my humble self, had to go on the same journey and on the same sojourn, sometimes in 2016, to ask my manufacturer, God, the reason for which I was created. And it has been a journey of purpose and vision so far. It has been from one radar to another. It has been a visionary journey, and part of that journey is this amazing book. So if you're confused on how to go into the journey of self-discovery, I have poured a whole lot out into this book, right from how it all started. And all you need to do in order to get more clarity is to get a copy of Identity. It's available in Nigeria. This is an hardcover and it's just 5,000 naira only. If you want to get a copy in Nigeria, reach out to me. You can send an email to ooainspires@gmail.com, or if you live in diaspora, go on Amazon and just type Identity by Oluwatosin Arojuju. It can be delivered to you anywhere in the world. This book has birthed a whole lot of visions. It's like a mother that keeps giving and keeps, and keeps growing. A lot of visions has been birthed just because I followed the leading and I wrote this amazing power book. So do well to get a copy and begin to live a purposeful life. So it's been an amazing discussion about the woman and her money, and I hope that you've gotten a lot of insight in order to better your own life. At this point, I'm going to wrap the talk show up and move into the next segment. Just that's about a minute and a pep talk for the OOA coaching and mentoring session. Until then, I'll catch you on a talk show and on a conversation like this next week by God's grace. But still, hold on. I just have a pep talk to share with us before I call it a day for the talk show. Yes, today's pep talk is on rest for women. On when God was creating the world, He created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, He rested. There is a whole lot of unhealthy competition that is out there, self-comparison that is driving and overdriving women to go beyond their capacity. It is very good for you to build a life, to walk in purpose. I'm a purposeful and a visionary woman, but we must not take away the place of rest in whatever it is that we are doing. May we not build and be taken out of the building while others inhabit what we have built. This is why it is very important that you take it as a form of duty to rest. Most especially if your body keeps communicating to you that you need rest. Take a pause. If you have to pause something, it could be a particular job that you're doing. It could be a particular, like this talk show. There was a time I had to take a break, sometimes from June 18 until sometimes about, I think about 2 weeks ago in August, when I had to resume. You know, I've gotten past this stage that I have to start getting afraid that, oh, other people are going to overtake me. There is nobody that will overtake you in whatever it is that you have been called to do. So if there are times that you need to take a rest, please do not hesitate to take that rest. It could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be some hours, but never, despise the place of rest in this race of life. And I hope I've been able to, shown you a little light when it comes to rest in this pep talk for today's show. So my name is Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arodudu, the host of the Today's Woman's Discovery Talk Show. Our conversation today was about the woman and her money. If you didn't start with us from the beginning, I would implore you to go back and play the whole talk show from the beginning, and you're going to get a whole lot of light and a whole lot of direction from the amazing discussion that these brilliant and intelligent women have brought and shared with us. Until then, I want to wish you a beautiful week. God bless you, and hope to see you again same time next week by God's grace. Have a nice week ahead. God bless you. Bye-bye.